Welcome back, squirrels, to ADHD Season 2, where we are talking about life unfiltered. And mostly, I'm just embarrassing myself on the internet and telling you all of my secrets. Today, we're going to talk about the hobby graveyard and why ADHD makes us amazing at starting things, but really, really trash at consistency. Spoiler, like everything else, this is not a moral failing. It's just the way our brains are wired. We are so good at starting a new hobby and just really terrible at finishing them. If you ever spent hundreds of dollars on a hobby only to abandon it a couple of weeks later, congratulations, you are not alone. You are an ADHD stereotype just like me. And if you walked around my house right now, you would see about 50 or 60 unfinished projects and boxes and bins full of scraps of art things and stuff I intended on finishing at some point that just never happened, never materialized. I have a very brand new sewing machine sitting in my closet that just stares at me every day because one day I thought that it would really be so much more effective and efficient if I made my own clothing. That way I would always have stuff that I liked, right? And how hard can it be to learn how to sew? All I need is the right sewing machine and I can figure it out. If that sounds familiar, stick around because we're going to talk about it a little bit more today and expose the truth about why we keep quitting, the shame that comes with it, and that society piles on us for being quitters, quote unquote, and why I think that your hobby graveyard actually makes you pretty freaking cool. So let's jump straight into it and talk about the brutal truth. Why? Why do we quit everything? So the first thing that we need to talk about is that ADHD is fueled and addicted to novelty. It's not lazy. It just likes things that are new or novel. I don't know why somebody would want to do the same thing over and over and over again. Like, I understand that when you find a hobby that you enjoy, it's something that you can and should continue to pursue. But why does it have to be the only thing that you enjoy or the only thing that you do? Like if you're a quilter, now you have to be a quilter forever. Or if you're a crocheter, now you have to crochet forever. Society's obsession with finishing what you start it's kind of a scam and just generally a lie. Because let's just stop for a second and talk about what a hobby is. A hobby is dopamine. It's enjoyment. It's doing something that you enjoy that is not harmful and that something that you can spend your time on that's going to fill you with dopamine, with that reward. So here's my hot take about hobbies. Society presents hobbies as one of those methods of self-care that are really well adapted, right? So this is a very adaptive way of taking care of yourself. You're going to take some time out for yourself. You're going to do something that you enjoy. And this is a really good way of taking care of yourself. Everybody should have hobbies. Literally all you just said to me is we like dopamine, we find dopamine. And everybody should have a way of procuring that dopamine and getting those reward hits in a way that is beneficial to them and is going to fill their cup. But if I can just be controversial for a second, finishing a hobby, completing the task doesn't make you better than anyone else. Why do I have to finish my hobby in order for it to be worthwhile? The whole point of a hobby is fun. So what is with this neurotypical obsession with taking something that's supposed to be fun and turning it into another task that you have to accomplish? Who says that I need to make a blanket in order for quilting or crocheting to be enjoyable? I can just enjoy the thing for the sake of enjoying it. Congratulations. Your brain works differently than mine. You are able to complete something and finish it. I was just trying to have fun. And I think that that's where a lot of ADHDers kind of get stuck because you're critiquing me for something that doesn't need, it's not even a criticism. It's like, it's, it's literally like putting a piece of chocolate cake in front of somebody and they eat, let's say, 7 bites of this chocolate cake, and then it's enough. And you're like, oh, you don't even know how to eat cake. You didn't even finish your whole slice of cake. Why do I have to finish the whole slice of cake? It was enough cake. I had the cake that I wanted to have. I really enjoyed it. It hit my sweet tooth. It filled what I needed. It filled my cup for that little sweet treat that I needed. And I don't need any more cake. But it's like, it's almost as if society is telling you that if you don't finish your piece of cake, then you're a trash person. You didn't finish your book. You didn't finish your movie. You didn't finish your crocheting project. You didn't finish your art project. You didn't finish your whatever it was that you were doing. And therefore, what? Nothing. Actually, it's the opposite. You're better at enjoying things for the sake of enjoying them. You don't need to create some sort of false sense of accomplishment surrounding something that's supposed to just be plain pure fun. I would love, actually, please, please, please send me the most ridiculous hobbies that you've tried and quit. I would love to hear it. I'm not a big hobby starter because I just never have been, but I definitely fall victim to the side quests and the project, right? So, like, just kind of getting an idea in my head about a project that I should do or something that I could do. That's why my house is full of these doom bins of scraps and pieces of stuff that I know that I could turn into something amazing. And maybe one day I will, and maybe one day I won't. And the shame that comes with that is stupid. So let's talk a little bit about how to continue to enjoy the things that you enjoy without the hidden costs and without the horrible pieces. So there's a lot of financial waste that comes with this hobby graveyard. Like, how much money have we collectively wasted on hobbies, on cricket machines and pottery wheels and specialized materials for specific hobbies that we knew, like, this one is going to catch. This one is going to be the one that's going to stick. This one is going to be my forever hobby. And I couldn't possibly do this hobby better. I can't possibly do it correctly unless I have the right equipment, right? You need to have the right equipment. You need to have the right thing, to do the thing exactly the way that you're supposed to. And you need to go out and buy the best. And if you buy the best, then you know that it's going to work out this time. Those are a lot of ADHD lies that you just told yourself. A lot. Because whether or not you stick to something is not dependent on the quality of materials that you have. And we already know that rewarding yourself in advance is not going to help you. You have to stick to the thing and then reward yourself for it. Not reward yourself in advance and then do the thing. It doesn't really work that way. And every time we try and convince ourselves that it does work that way, we're telling ourselves another one of those little lies, another one of those little traps that we like to fall into. Another one of those hidden costs of this hobby graveyard is the emotional baggage, the guilt, the shame, the what's wrong with me, right? Especially if you live with a neurotypical partner, or you have neurotypical friends. They're going to say something like, oh, you're starting another hobby? Oh, you think you can, like, this is going to be the thing that you love? Like, this is going to be the thing that really gets you? There's something that's really wrong with you if you can't finish anything, if you can't complete anything. And that brings with it so much guilt and so much shame, which obviously, if you guys have been around here for a little bit, you know, I think that that is dumb. And then that's not even talking about the cultural expectations, like the expectation that you have to follow through on something, and society hates quitters, and winners never quit and you have to stick to it. To Why do we care? Why do we care so much? Who cares if I never make a full scrapbook? If I only ever enjoy the scrapbooking while I'm doing it and I never finish the scrapbook, who cares? The problem is not that we quit. I even hate that word. Like, it's not quitting. It's not quitting because quitting implies that there was a finish line that you had to reach in the first place. If you were running a race and you stopped the race midway, you would call that quitting. But, like, what's the big freaking deal? Who told you that you had to finish? Who told you that finishing was the goal? There's a lot of good reasons that people stop. So the problem is not that we quit, it's that we keep trying to follow neurotypical rules about hobbies in the first place. I want to talk about Simone Biles for a second, because if any of y'all were watching Simone Biles in the previous Olympics, her dropping out of the previous Olympics was a very, very big shock. And there was a lot of controversy surrounding that. Like, how could she quit? And ultimately, this is a human being who is doing what they needed to do for themselves. None of us have any singular right to criticize her or have enough information about why she made the decision that she did to even have an opinion. But everyone had an opinion about this woman and why she wasn't competing or continuing in the competitions in the way that she was. It's weird to care so much about what someone else is accomplishing. That's really weird. And if you feel like it's really important for you to accomplish certain things and to put goals in place and to hit them and to reach them, and you feel like the best way for you to enjoy your hobby is to start something and then finish it, then great, go do that. That doesn't have to apply to everyone. And your rules as somebody ADHD can be totally different than somebody's rules who is neurotypical. I have been told so many times to get into gardening. And my family, my husband's family actually sent me like a gardening kit with all these starter seeds, which just sat on the shelf, honestly, like I didn't do it. It turns out people say that gardening is very grounding. Gardening also requires a lot of consistency. It requires you to actually take care of your plants every day. You can't stop taking care of your plants. They will die. And every single plant I have ever tried to plant, whether it's indoors or outdoors, has died. I literally bought cactuses because, like, who kills a cactus? They're dead. My dead cactuses are sitting in my bathroom. And I don't know anyone else who has managed to kill a cactus. They're the easiest plant to keep alive. They literally keep themselves alive. But I don't know. I guess I'm just more talented than most, or just more consistently inconsistent than most. You don't have to fall into the same traps over and over and over again. And the way to avoid that is by stopping to follow other people's rules. Stop looking at it as quitting and look at it as being done. You get to decide. You get to set your own rules about what starting and stopping means. No one's paying you for this. There's no output that has to happen. There's no landmark or milestone you have to reach in order to be valuable or important or worthy of having a specific hobby. So let's talk about why the hobby graveyard is actually a flex and why it's actually a good thing that you have tried so many things. First of all, you're interesting. ADHD is just curiosity on steroids. It's just always seeking new dopamine and always seeking novelty. Your hobby graveyard shows that you're endlessly creative. It's not just that you have one thing that interests you or one thing that you can pursue or even one thing that you're good at and you go and do that. No, you can do lots of different things and lots of different things interest you. You have the capacity to do and enjoy so much stuff. That's amazing. Imagine somebody who only liked what they liked and they had no ability to derive enjoyment from anything else. Ugh, like that's not even fun. You're not a failure because you quit. You have the freedom to stop something whenever you want because you're an adult and you're not hurting anyone by stopping or starting your hobby. There's a big but there. There's a big asterisk, which we'll get to in a second. But you're not a failure. You're an explorer. And maybe now's the time for a pivot. And maybe now's the time to do something else. And ultimately, it literally doesn't matter. These are hobbies. They are for fun. They're not just, they're not proving anything to anyone. So when you're no longer enjoying it, what is the benefit of continuing? In that instance, quitting is actually self-care. Hobbies don't have to be productive. It's okay that it's just for fun. Human beings don't only have to be measured based on their productivity and their output. You're allowed to just enjoy yourself and enjoy your life just because. Why? It's actually really weird. Like, why is it that hobbies have to be useful? What is it about us that we feel like we need to produce all the time? We always need to be contributing, adding more and more and more and more. Like, why? Why? And that's not a rhetorical why. I really want you to sit with that and ask yourself, why am I doing this thing? And if the answer is for fun, then do it for as long as it's fun and stop doing it when it's not fun anymore. Does that sound so obvious when I say it? If I'm doing it for fun and it stops being fun, then I should stop doing it. Right? Like, duh. That's freaking obvious. And it shouldn't be a controversial statement that when you're doing something for fun and it's no longer fun, you stop. This obviously does not apply to like cooking meals for your family. If you're cooking dinner for your family and you don't feel like cooking anymore, well, your kids still need to eat, so you have to cook. You don't have to cook the most elaborate, fancy meal. If you're not enjoying it, then don't do that. But you still do need to cook. You need to complete that task because then you need to feed people and they actually need to eat. The majority of hobbies are not like that. I would actually argue that no hobby is like that because a hobby by definition is just supposed to be fun. So let's do something a little wild. I want to see your abandoned projects. I want to see your half-empty stuff. I want to see your half-completed things. Show off your hobby graveyard with pride. Post your abandoned projects on Instagram. Tag me at AVHD, AVYHD, and we will celebrate them together. When I first moved to Atlanta, it was right into COVID shutdown. And the first thing I did was when the school shut down for COVID, I went to Michael's and I bought a ton of art supplies and a ton of projects because I knew that we were going to be home for a while and we were going to be bored. And one of the things that I got are these little hexagons that you see in the background over there. They're these blank wooden hexagons, these window boxes. And I saw them and I thought, hey, I could make something really cool with that. And I bought a bunch of them. And I don't know what I intended to make with them at the time. And I will tell you that I didn't make anything with them for the longest time until I did. And I did that probably like 2 weeks ago, where I turned some of them into little bits of artwork that I now have in my background here of the podcast. And they make me really happy. And the hexagons ended up working out because our company, Alisto, the logo has a lot of hexagons and it's part of our branding. But I didn't know that at the time. Does it make any sense for me to walk past these little hexagon boxes that probably cost me a couple bucks each and feel like a trash person every time I look at that? I'm going to look at it and say, oh, you're not ever able to finish anything. You can never complete anything. You are so useless. You are so worthless. Blah, 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 blah. What kind of messaging is that? And what benefit am I doing myself by talking to myself in this way? I let it go. And then when the idea came and the thought struck of what I wanted to create with these hexagons, I did. And I only made 2 of them. I still have 4 more. Maybe I'll make something with them. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But regardless, it's not an indication of whether I'm a good person or whether I'm a person with strong morals or values because I didn't use the thing that I bought immediately. Okay. But now let us talk about the things to avoid. Okay. Because where do everything that I just said, everything that I just said is telling you about why you should just do whatever the hell you want. And I said before that there's a big but, a big old but when I was talking about new hobbies. And that but is dollars. Dollars and cents. Because some of these hobbies that we have and we get into our minds are expensive. And like I said, somehow we manage to convince ourselves that if we have the best gear and if we have the top the top products or whatever, that we're going to stick to this hobby. You won't. Okay. You won't. You're not going to stick to this hobby just like you're not going to stick to any other hobby. And it's okay. Because remember, we said hobbies are just for fun. That's literally like saying you went to a bar once and you had a good time. Now you have to go to the bar every single day for the rest of your life because you had a good time that one time. So now you need to go all the time. That's dumb. You're allowed to have fun in lots of different ways. You're allowed to pick things up and put them back down. But in order to do that, stop spending money. Rent before you buy. Borrow. Get the cheaper stuff, right? This is not only for you, but for our planet also. We have become consumers who just buy and buy and buy and buy and buy, and it's unnecessary. We can borrow from each other. We can rent from places. There's a lot that we can do so that we don't fall victim to our own traps. Because your brain is going to tell you that this is it. This is the thing. This is the thing that you're going to love. This is going to be the one. It's not. Embrace dabbling. You are allowed to try things without committing your entire life to them. That is okay. When I first had my oldest daughter, I really got into baby wearing. And baby wearing, for those of you who aren't familiar, is just literally wearing your baby in wraps or in carriers so that you have your hands free and you can wear your baby around the house. And at that time, I thought that I wanted 6 kids. For those of you who know me, I have 2 kids, and that's all the plans that the Lord and I have for me having children in this lifetime. 2 amazing kids. They are just enough for me and I'm enough for them. 6 kids would probably overextend me too much, and I probably wouldn't do a very good job at it. But originally I thought I wanted to have 6 kids. And for context, I started having kids when I was 23 years old. So I was young. And I did research on the best baby wearing techniques and the best wraps and the best things. And I collected quite a significant collection. And baby wraps, they're not cheap. And I told myself that there was going to be a return on investment because you can resell them at a higher price and these things appreciate, which is true. I didn't ultimately end up losing any money. I was able to sell or give away a lot of stuff to other people who enjoyed them and were able to use them. But then I had my second kid, and she hated being worn. She hated being in those wraps. She just didn't like it. Okay. That's okay. But what I could have done originally, I was living in Israel at the time. There's an amazing baby wearing group called Baby Wearing Israel, and they have a baby wearing lending library where you can basically borrow anyone's wraps and try them out, and they circulate around the group. The group does an amazing job of that and making sure that everybody has access to the resources to try everything out. I could have just done that and not purchased all of the wraps. But it didn't even occur to me because in my mind, if I'm a baby wearer, then I need to have my own gear. Just like if I'm a snorkeler or a scuba diver or a knitter, I need to have all of my own gear. You don't. There's no rules about how somebody is going to take you seriously or not take you seriously. There's no rules about how you're supposed to properly participate in a hobby. It is your hobby. So try and do things that don't require long-term investment by, again, embracing the dabbling and doing things that are ADHD friendly. And then furthermore, creating part of your budget that's a hobby graveyard budget. Plan for quitting. It's part of the ADHD life cycle. It's part of what is going to happen, and it is okay. Just know yourself well enough. I'm debating with myself because what I'm about to say is really, it's the key to everything, and I'm about to talk myself out of a job. The one key to all of this ADHD shit is to stop fixing yourself. Stop trying to fix something that isn't wrong. Stop it. And just embrace yourself and embrace the quirky aspects of who you are and embrace how amazing you are and how curious and creative and wonderfully interesting you are. Stop trying to fix something that isn't a problem. What if you just stopped? Stop trying to finish hobbies. Just enjoy them. Normalize things that are unfinished. Normalize works in progress. No, it's a beautiful thing that you can be interested in something and then not interested in it for a little while and then come back to it and pick it up and put it down and talk about this thing and that thing that you're interested in and find people and connect with them on hobbies that you're doing right now who don't necessarily have to be lifelong friends. These are just the people that you do this hobby with right now. It's okay. And this is such a good episode for the new year because we come into all of these stupid freaking New Year resolutions and we say like, okay, new year, new me. This is the year that I'm going to be, blah, 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 blah. And everything that you've ever wanted to fix about yourself, like now this is finally the year that you're going to be able to do it. No, it isn't. You are the same person. And the person that you are is awesome. Not only do you not need to become a new you, the person that you are is the person who has gotten you to this point in your life. Why would you throw that person out? This is not a new you. This is the same you, the same amazing, resilient, creative, interesting, curious you who has gotten you to this point. The hobby graveyard is not a failure. It is your legacy of curiosity and creativity and the freedom to embrace exactly who you are. So throw out the rules, literally like the rules. These rules are made up. Not only are they made up, I guarantee you, they're not even well thought out. It's not like some master of the universe sat down and planned out what the best rules are going to be. This is just what most people end up doing. But you, my little neurodivergent squirrel, have an amazing gift of going against the norm and going against the grain. And when everyone is doing one thing, you don't just do that with them. You ask yourself, why are we doing that? You find the reasons, you find the meaning. You're a gift to this world. So please let me celebrate your unfinished projects with you this week. Post a pic, tag us at AVHD, that's AVY-HD, and let us toast each other and celebrate each other and find our people and get rid of the shame and get rid of the stupid because it's enough. We have spent enough time wasting time. So if you're done, if you also feel like you are done wasting time and you are done measuring yourself according to someone else's version of success, subscribe, follow us, DM me your most absurd hobby stories. We want to feature you. We will feature the best and worst ones in our next episode. And in the meantime, stay curious and stay creative and stay you, but do it in a way that's going to protect yourself from yourself. Know your patterns, know your habits, set the rules so that your hobbies are always enjoyable and never a burden on your life. Until next time, stay weird. And I cannot wait to see your craziest hobbies. See y'all next week. All right.